So tonight I'm gonna make an easy pasta carbonara. It's really, really simple, just takes a couple ingredients and really, like I said, really quick to cook. Sometimes I'll do it as a side dish with like some fillets or steaks or chicken, something like that. But tonight I'm just gonna do it with the pasta because I'm lazy. But what you wanna do is have a pot of boiling water already going. I always break my pasta in half. There's some people who don't. I don't know. So I just think that that's weird, but I find that it's easier to have it cook evenly, and then everything's kind of done the same. You do get little pieces of, you know, pasta everywhere, but it's worth it. So I'm just gonna stir that with my tongs here. And then we're gonna wanna get it al dente, so about 8 to 10 minutes. So I'm gonna put a timer on for that with my little chef guy here. And then we're gonna start on the sauce, which is just bacon, cheese, and eggs. Sounds good. All right. So we've got pasta going. We're just gonna need about 2 tablespoons of olive oil to coat the pan. You've seen me kind of do this. I'll just add that. Another thing I want to recommend, if you can, you don't have to get fancy scissors, but I have kitchen dedicated scissors. So for things like this, when I'm going to cut up about 4 ounces of bacon, I'm just going to do thin strips. I find it easier to handle with scissors, so you can do big chunks and you can kind of just go to town. This bacon's been sitting out a while, so it probably wasn't a smart idea, but you get the drift. Okay, still chopping. We're letting this get to high heat, and then we'll add the bacon. Alright, so we're just going to make sure the pan's coated. I'm going to add 1 piece in there just to see. Not quite ready. But the oil is getting a little bit thinner, so we're just going to wait for this to heat up. Then we're going to add all the bacon to it and then kind of get everything going. We've got things going on in multiple pots, but it will not be too hard to keep up with. Alright, so we got a little bit of action in the pan. Just going to kind of spread these out. And then we will get started. This is kind of just making the base of the sauce. All right. Oops. So in order to make the traditional egg type sauce, I've got 2 eggs that I got at a room temperature, so that way they're going to melt a little bit easier with the butter when it hits the hot noodles. What I'm gonna do over here, just kind of fan this around. You want to get it cooked. So let that crackle away while we crack 2 eggs in here. This is about 1.5 cups of Parmigiano-Reggiano. My friends make fun of me because I sometimes say Parmesan, but Parmesan, whichever way, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, it tastes good. So just gonna crack 2 eggs into the cheese mixture. You'll find that whenever you bring eggs to room temperature, whether it's for baking or just regular cooking, that it meshes better. So let me find the little baby whisk. So just gonna kind of stir that in, incorporate it into the eggs. We're still babysitting the bacon. And we still got the pasta going over there. So like I said, you kind of got multiple things you're looking at, but honestly, it's literally going to come together right at the end, and it tastes really good, so it's going to be worth it. Okay, so I've got that incorporated. Still hanging out over here by the hot tub. Once the bacon's crisp, we're gonna add about 4 cloves of finely minced garlic. And then hopefully the pasta will be done by then. We can kind of just throw it all together and have ourselves a nice little meal. All right, so my pasta should be done. Most people will try and do the old throw it on the wall trick. I don't do that, I do taste. It's gonna be really hot, so don't try this at home. So if it sticks in your teeth too much, that means it's really, really al dente. I don't really like that, but others in my house do. So I'll probably stop the cooking at this point because it's still gonna cook in this sauce, and we've got the bacon. I'm gonna take that off the heat here because it's getting pretty brown. Then I'm gonna drain the pasta. All right, so now we're gonna add the garlic, and you just wanna cook this for a minute until it gets kind of fragrant. And the one thing about garlic is that it will burn. So I turned the heat down a little bit to about medium heat. Got perfect crispy bacon, and I'm telling you, just the smell of this garlic is to die for. Okay. All right, so I've got my pasta here. Gonna add it to the mix. And I've got it on. I'm gonna take it off the heat, like actually take it off having any heat going to it, because we're gonna add the egg mixture off the heat so it doesn't scramble the eggs. So just kind of do a little twirl. And the good part about this is you don't need really any salt. I salted the water, that was about it. But because the bacon has all that salt and grease, and that's what's kind of coating the pasta right now, that's really all you need. All right, so we're just bringing that mixture, that egg mixture we had going together. We have got the pasta off the heat, just letting it soak kind of in that bacon yumminess. Trick. All right, so now, like I said, just kind of removing it from the heat, letting the steam come up so we're not gonna scramble the eggs. And immediately, I'm gonna start stirring in this mixture. It gets kind of gloopy because you've got the eggs that are clumping in together with that cheese. It's not a problem. It will melt down, so do not worry. You can also save a little bit of pasta water to kind of thin this out if it's clumping too much. I didn't do that because I usually don't mind it that much. And then I want to make sure I got all this goodness out. I'm gonna have to actually get a little spatula. So I don't like to waste anything. See, look, that was worth it. All right. So what I'm gonna taste it to see if it needs any salt, but it kind of needs a little salt. So I'm gonna kind of fan it out here. Add my salt. It's a lot of pasta. And then fresh cracked pepper is kind of the key ingredient here. If you have parsley, you can garnish it with that if you're wanting to be fancy, but once again, you'll find that I always opt out to leave out things that I don't want to eat in my food. If it's for presentation, I don't have time for that. Okay. So, and you can serve this in a plate or bowl, like I said, depending on what you're serving it with. If it's a side dish, you know, then you put it on a plate with the steak next to it or the chicken. This is our main meal, so I'm gonna grab a bowl and just grab a big hunk of pasta and then kind of turn the pasta. Then I'm just gonna add a little bit more. Just turn this. This is my fancy stuff right here. And that's pasta carbonara.